The House will please come to order. My apologies, colleagues. I was in a room and didn't have a clock with me and didn't pay attention, so my apologies. So we're coming back to order. We will start with some messages from the Senate.
Message 437. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 22, Wyoming Military Code. The Senate adopted the Joint Conference Committee Number 1 report on the bill listed above by the vote indicated. Ayes 26, noes 4. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk. Message 438. Mr. Speaker, Senate File 127, Wyoming Learn While You Earn program. The Senate failed to concur on House amendments to the bill listed above by the vote indicated. Noes 28, excused 2. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk. Message 439. Mr. Speaker, the Senate appointed Senate conferees to meet with the Light Committee Number 1 from the House on amendments to Senate File 127. The Senate conferees are Senator Kinski, Chairman, Senator Beitman, Senator Hicks. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk. Message 440. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on the House amendments to the bill listed above by the vote indicated. Senate File 141, Business Entities, Representation and Detainer Cases. Ayes 29, excused 1. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk. Message 441. Mr. Speaker, Senate File 121, State Funds, Investments, and Distributions. The Senate failed to concur on House amendments to the bill listed above by the vote indicated. Noes 30. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk. Message 442. Mr. Speaker, the Senate appointed Senate conferees to meet with the Light Committee Number 1 from the House on amendments to Senate File 121. The Senate conferees are Senator Perkins, Chairman, Senator Cooper, Senator Steinmetz. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk. Message 443. Mr. Speaker, the Senate did concur on House amendments to the bill listed below by the vote indicated. Senate File 152, Correction of Utility Services. Connection of Utility Services. Ayes 28, noes 2. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk. Message 444. Mr. Speaker, the Senate appointed Senate conferees to meet with a Light Committee Number 1 from the House on amendments to House Bill 36. The Senate conferees are Senator Hicks, Chairman, Senator Driscoll, Senator Kinski. Sincerely, Ellen Thompson, Senate Chief Clerk.
Thank you. So I'm going to start naming some conference committees. The first one will be on Senate File 127, Harshman Chair Conley O'Hearn. 127, Harshman Conley O'Hearn. Next bill one is House Bill 127. Chairman. Okay, Chief Clerk, what was the one I just did? Senate File 127. So the next one will be House Bill 127. It'll be Chairman Wilson, Larson, Lloyd, and Banks. That's House Bill 127. The next one is 158, House Bill 158, Brown, Chairman, Harshman Zwanitzer. The next one is House Bill 254. It is Burkhart, Chairman, Blackburn, and Nicholas. Next. Next one is Senate File 121. It'll be Nicholas, Chairman, Gray, and Harshman. And House Bill 92, it'll be Barlow, Chairman, Sherwood, and Ottman. And I want to thank the body for a unanimous vote on the revisor's bill. That's probably one of the more meaningful things in my legislative career. Unanimous no vote on a bill. Anyway. All right, we're at that order of business of signing of enrolled acts. The first act for our consideration is Senate File 68.
Senate Enrolled Act 66, being original Senate File 68. An act relating to education, amending provisions related to school attendance and unexcused absences, clarifying what constitutes an unexcused absence for purpose of school attendance, amending and repealing duties and powers of the boards of trustees for Wyoming school districts, requiring rulemaking, and providing for effective dates, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act 66, which was original Senate File 68. I have so signed. So members, I know there's a lot of governors signing events during this afternoon. And I know many of you are going in and out for your bills. Please feel free to do that. We're going to take care of these signings, and then actually we're going to ask for conference committees to announce some conference committee times, and then we're going to take a break of probably until 4 o'clock so that all those signings can get out of the way, and then we'll come back together, hopefully have some conference committee reports. I think if Chief Clerk gives me the thumbs up. The next enrolled act is 67.
House Enrolled Act 67, being original Senate File 85. An act relating to property taxation, providing an exemption for de minimis business property subject to specified requirements, providing a civil fee for failing to report property to the county assessor, and repealing the criminal penalty and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act 67, being original Senate File 85. I have so signed. The next enrolled act is 68.
Senate Enrolled Act 68, being original Senate File 157, an act relating to cities and towns, prohibiting cities and towns from conditioning the connection of municipal sewer services as specified, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act 68, being original Senate File 157. I have so signed. The next enrolled act is 69.
Senate Enrolled Act 69, being original Senate File 87. An act relating to crimes and offenses, amending the elements and penalties of the crime of voyeurism, authorizing the imposition of specified probation conditions for those persons convicted of voyeurism, making conforming amendments, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act 69, being original Senate File 87. I have so signed. Next enrolled act is 70.
Senate Enrolled Act 70, being original Senate File 152. An act relating to cities, towns, and counties, prohibiting cities, towns, and counties from prohibiting the connection or reconnection of utility services and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act 70, being original Senate File 152. I have so signed. Next enrolled act is 71.
Senate Enrolled Act 71, being original Senate File 141. An act relating to civil procedure, authorizing business entities to represent themselves in forcible entry and detainer actions, specifying requirements and exceptions, specifying applicability, and providing for an effective date, being enacted by the legislature of the state of Wyoming.
I'm about to sign Enrolled Act 71, being original Senate File 141. I have so signed. Chairman Nicholas? So members, we're going to, Chairman Nicholas is just going to walk us through the governor's message on the budget, as we didn't get to that Friday. So it's nothing, if there's questions or anything, but we'll just walk through quickly what the governor did with House Bill 1, and then we'll go from there. So whenever the chairman's ready. And this will just be a brief explanation unless there are questions, and then we can make it longer. Chairman Nicholas, if you just walk us through the governor's actions on the budget and take any questions, that'd be great. Chairman Nicholas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So ladies and gentlemen, this was circulated, I think, last Tuesday or Wednesday, and you may or may not have it in front of you. This is the budget bill, and it has the line item vetoes that the governor instituted on our budget. So it kind of looks like it's a lot, but it's really fairly simple. And we didn't have any major objections to it. If we would have, last Friday, I think was our deadline to override his vetoes on the budget bill. But basically, I'm just going to walk you through real quickly what he did and kind of what our thoughts to it. So there were 8 veto provisions in the supplemental budget that came from the chief executive. Only one of them out of all those 8 had anything to do or any impact with money. And so that's the main reason why your appropriations committee didn't really think that aggressive action was necessary. 4 of those 8 vetoes related to footnotes, invoking what we do with having memorandums of understanding between us and or the executive department or an agency. And that's always been a little bit of a pet peeve for the chief executive officer. We like to have them because it helps us be informed and kind of does a lot of our homework for us. And that facilitates our understanding of different items that we put in the budget. But 4 of them were those. And once again, they weren't ground shaking, and we kind of half anticipated that happening in the first place. So specifically, what were those vetoes? He vetoed a footnote providing maximum limitation on leasing expenditures. You might recall that we capped the leasing expenditures at last year's amount, and he just simply removed the cap. Fairly straightforward. So with regards to that, we had testimony during appropriations that A&I, who manages the leasing of state buildings, they took part of their COVID-2 budget cuts by reducing overall leasing around the state. And so we actually know that it's not an issue, that we have to worry about them exceeding their previous leasing amounts, because that's part of their COVID reductions. And I think the intent was to reduce it literally about $2 or $3 million biennium versus previous leasing amounts. So then after that, there was a veto on the military department and state parks. That was 2 footnotes. He didn't take away our actions on the military and having that combining with state parks. He just took away the footnotes and the memorandums of understanding. There was a veto review of an assessment of a position that we added back at the state's construction department. Once again, this was just a review of that position. Once we put it back, we put that position back because, for those of you who weren't here before, and we talked about it earlier, but the construction department used to be under A&I. And about 3 years ago, we separated out, created maybe it was 4 years ago, created basically a separate entity that does all of state construction, both on the school side and on any other construction. what we did was, when we separated those two agencies from ANI, we inadvertently, I think, left one person over in ANI that should have been on the construction department. We work with them fairly regularly on several committees I've been on through the last two bienniums. And it was a pretty consensus of those folks on that committee that the construction department was shorthanded a little bit. So basically, we moved one position from ANI over to the construction department, and then there was an amendment from this floor saying we'd like an assessment of that position is and what it does. He just took out the assessment. So once again, no money involved. Then there were two other vetoes. So the State Veterans Memorial Museum, it was in about 6 different places in the budget because we kind of shopped it around. We found money in different pots. And so he just kind of walked through and took out some of our nomenclature, but it didn't take away the program. And so that was a House-sponsored initiative. And so we're content as long as we get it. He also took out language with regards to the Council on Women's Issues. That was a footnote that we put in there, but it's still there. It still happens. The footnote's just taken out. And next was a veto of a footnote relating to the Board of Education. Once again, this was kind of superfluous language dealing with a specific amount of pay for a specific position. He took that language out so that you have the opportunity to say hire 2 positions versus 1 and have part-time versus full-time. So the dollar stays in. It was just the restrictions on the position that we took out and capping the amount of the pay for that particular position. The last veto strikes 3.5 million transfer. You'll all remember this from the state penitentiary account, and just undoes that $30.5 million that is literally in a savings account that we created a few years back with the good help of Representative Burkhart. What we did is we grabbed that dollars and put it over into a reserve account or into a permanent account. Just thinking, well, we might need that cash, and so we don't want to leave it in the state penitentiary account. So he removed that footnote, so that money, until we take any further action, will stay in the permanent penitentiary account, which is a sub-account under SIPA. Finally, he changed a comma from a P to an O and said April Fools. So that's for the action of the governor.
Does anybody have any questions for the good chairman on the governor's actions on House Bill 1? Anybody have any questions? Any questions? All right, any of our conference committee, thank you very much, Chairman. Any of our conference committee chairmen have a announcement to make? Announcements. Members, as you know, conference committees are announced publicly and they can meet immediately, but we do try to announce them. And we'll try to take them up in rooms 110 and 113 downstairs. And just for the members participating remotely, I'm basically assigning folks that are here in the room just for ease of logistics. So I apologize for that, but that's just weird. Chairman Nicholas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So for Joint Conference Committee number 1 on Senate File 118, we will be meeting in approximately 15 minutes in room 113. And that's Representative Walters and Representative Nyman meeting with our counterparts down the hall.
Chairman Conley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your conference committee on Senate File 75 will meet in 5 minutes.
Chairman Conley, would you tell us where you might meet? Pick a room.
Let's choose the pretty territorial conference room.
Thank you. Any other conference committees to be announced? Conference committees to be announced? So what we're having here is we're appointing and they're appointing at the same time, and we're trying to get memberships. And so we're still waiting on maybe some membership. So I apologize for that. So members, we're going to stand, we have bill signings now. For those of you who are out of town, there's about a dozen bill signings this afternoon. Chairman Harshman, did you know? Okay. So we have about a dozen bill signings going on over the next hour and so. So we're going to stand in recess until 4 p.m. And at 4 p.m., I hope I'll have all those committees will have a time arranged so that we can have conference committees on some of them tonight. And if we need tomorrow morning, some of you need tomorrow morning, that's fine as well. So we are in recess until 4 p.m.